Chapter 11. Rosie, May 19th, 2017. My heart flutters and I'm afraid they'll hear it. Hugh is leading up to the punchline of what will be a side-splitting story. His stories always are. Tuck reaches a hand between the right side of my seat and the passenger door and touches the back of my hand. I lace my fingers with his in secret like we always do away from prying eyes. My stomach fills with butterflies and I can't get enough of the warmth of him. This time, however, he slips something between our palms. It's a crumpled piece of paper. "Say yes to me," Tuck whispers just between us, his chin resting on my seat inches away from my right ear, his breath warm and distinctly him. A part of me is flattered and ecstatic. The other part is scared and sad. I meet his eyes in the side mirror and I give him a covert nod. He smiles back at me, his green eyes fixed and unwavering. Hugh either doesn't notice or pretends not to notice our side conversation. When Hugh docks his Jeep in its rightful place in the employee parking lot, we all dismount and go our separate ways. Tuck doesn't wait to walk me to my car like usual. Before my feet hit the ground, he is already in his truck. In my palm is a crumpled note, a small 1-inch by 1-inch yellow square with "Meet me 260, Poplar Avenue, 1800 hours," written on it. I walk into an atmospheric white tablecloth restaurant I wasn't even aware existed. Then again, I'd never ventured into Tuck's neck of the woods. I follow the hostess through an arched doorway into a dark blue dining room with Frank Sinatra crooning softly overhead. Tuck rises to his full height and I'm short of breath because he's so tall, so handsome, and I wonder what he sees when he looks at me like that. His eyes glimmer and his face softens. He can't possibly be looking at me, I think. He steps around the table and takes my hand. "Thank you for coming, Rosie. I've waited almost a year for this moment, and you're finally here," he whispers in my left ear. My heart leaps and hammers. It is lust, I know, but I let myself believe this is what falling in love feels like. I hate myself for feeling weak in the knees at his touch. I hate myself for my inability to slow my heart and make the flush that is undoubtedly on my face dissipate. "I love you, Rosie," he whispers as I lower myself into my seat. "I've loved you since the first moment I set eyes on you." I want to believe him, but once upon a time I had fallen for those very same words and was left disappointed. When I was 21 years old, after a lifetime of being alone, I met Brent Carter. Brent looked like a Disney prince come to life, blonde hair, dark blue eyes, a cleft chin, and perfectly bronzed skin. He told me he loved me more than anybody else, and perhaps it might have been true because Brent hadn't ever loved anyone more than himself. We talked of our happily ever after, buying a house with a white picket fence, a dog, and 2 kids. A year later we were married and then a year after that, we were divorced. So many things happened in that year, but the conclusion we came to was, I was not enough. I was not fun enough. I was not accepting and forgiving enough. I was not enough. Brent found someone better, someone who was fun, accepting, forgiving and enough. The truth was, he had met the new Mrs. Carter before me, hung on to her while he was wooing me, and continued seeing her while I was his wife. He packed my things for me and changed the locks 9 months into our marriage. Before the ink was dry, he was welcoming his new daughter. Mrs. Carter sent me a picture of Brent holding his daughter. Another woman might have replied with something cutting or smart. I did nothing. The next day I changed my phone number. I watch Tuck across the table as he looks at me. I wonder how many women he has subdued over the years with those brooding eyes and soft smirk. I wonder what he is like in bed. I wonder how he inevitably escapes when the euphoria of orgasm has subsided. Thinking about inevitably sleeping with him and admiring his features sparks an idea. Will you sleep with me? I want a baby. You'll be gone in 2 weeks, and I promise I won't ask anything from you. I just want a baby, I blurt. His eyes widen, then he slowly nods, just a single rock of the chin. Would you like to come back to my place after dinner? He asks. Chapter 12. I'm not sure my legs will carry me up the steps of Tuck's front stoop. I'm terrified. I don't want him to see that I am weak. I don't want him to see me, to peer into my inner thoughts. I don't mind getting naked in front of him, but I'm scared he'll see the real me. He leads me by the hand, and I hold on for dear life. If I let go, I'll crumble and turn to dust. He unlocks his front door, and we step inside. His condo is empty. The carpet in the living area has been cleaned, the steam lines fresh in the cheap beige carpet. I lean against the door to make sure it is closed. I free my left hand from his grip. I push the thin straps of my dress off my shoulders and let the rest of it fall to the floor. I want him to kiss me or press his body against mine. I know he's very experienced, his kind always are. Instead, he stands there like a deer in headlights. His eyes looking me up and down, his lips parted. He comes closer, but only close enough to touch me. This isn't what I expected. I take his hands and cover my breasts with them, and he lets out a groan from somewhere deep in his throat. He runs his hands over my breasts, down my sides, then cups my butt and lifts me off the ground. He carries me into an adjacent room, and we settle on a mattress on the floor. I undress him, wishing he'd stop looking at me like that. I am not expecting this gentle version of Tuck. He takes his time, and I wonder why. You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, he says. I love you, Rosie. I don't say anything back. I cover his lips with mine. When it is over, he pushes a damp lock of hair out of my face, his eyes fixed only on my face and not my naked body. I couldn't push him off me if I wanted to. I am so desperate for human contact that I reflexively reach up and run my fingers through his nearly black hair. Come home with me, he whispers. I am home with you, I snicker. No, come home to Utah with me. My mind goes blank, and I can't think of anything to say other than yes. I crinkle my nose, bite my lower lip, smile and shake my head. You're smooth, Tuck Ryan. I'm serious, Rosie. Come with me to Utah. Put in your 2 weeks' notice. Pack your things or sell it all, we'll start fresh. You're kidding, I force a laugh. He exhales slowly, then shakes his head. I'm serious. Come home with me. We'll live a quiet life on my ranch, away from the world. We'll have as many kids as you want. We'll ride horses, sleep under the stars, climb the red cliffs of Utah. I can see everything in my mind, and I want all that. I don't care about where I'll live or what I'll do, but I want so badly to belong. I want to belong to Tuck, and any kids I'll have. I want to live free and know I'll always have a safe, warm place to come back to. Then I think about my life and rethink Tuck's offer. My father's voice reminds me, no one will ever want you. You're a terrible child. I hear my mother's voice too, no one can ever love you if we can't love you. I hear my father tell me, get out of my house, pack all your things and get out, just to call the police when I do pack my things and leave his house. I think of the police car pulling up to where I am sitting on a cold curb in the snow telling me to get into the cruiser. I think of the last police officer to pick me up, a woman of all things, say, "You won't add up to anything. I'll probably find your body in the gutter." I think of 12 to 17-year-old me pleading for help from every adult I've encountered, even that policewoman. When I tell them I don't mind the beatings, it's the mental games that my parents play that I think will destroy my soul. I think of her response, "You're lying." I think of how free I felt in boot camp when everyone else around me was miserable. I think of how secure it felt to know I had a warm place to lay my head down at night and have 3 meals a day. I think of how wonderful I felt every time I made a friend. I think of the boy who gave me a handful of Skittles. Then Brent dances through my head. I think of how much I loved him and cared for him and how different he felt about me. I think of all the nights he disappeared without so much as a text to tell me he wouldn't be home. I think of all the days I spent worried he was in a hospital somewhere, hurt. I think of that text message from Mrs. Carter, Brent smiling into the camera, his daughter in his arms, and any hope of a house with a white picket fence, a dog, and 2 kids dissipating in my hands. I can't quit my job and move across the country, Tuck, I say. I've got my retirement pension, a good investment portfolio, and property, Rosie. You'll be well cared for. In exchange for what? What do you mean in exchange for what? For being with me, he laughs. Shouldn't it be the other way around? I have to pay you for your company? I ask. He laughs, soft and low, the vibrations in his chest tickling my body. Wow, Rosie, you sure know how to make a guy feel used, he chuckles. Well, what do you expect for a one-night stand? $100, $200. I don't usually carry cash. I can pay you $20 now and the rest later. You're joking, right? He laughs. I shake my head. I've used this line to escape once before, this time however, it's not working. Tuck is no longer laughing, and his face relaxes then furrow into something akin to hurt. Oh, you're serious. I feel cheap and used, he confesses. I thought we had an understanding. You wanted to use me for sex, and I wanted you for a baby. I tread carefully. His eyes drop to my breasts, but he isn't looking at me. It feels like he is searching beneath my skin and ribcage to see if I have a heart. If he can see my heart, he might see that it is just an organ, struggling to pump blood to my brain and my limbs, pumping liquid courage so I can flee or stay and see what he'll say next. He is thinking, I can tell by the way his thick dark lashes bat like hummingbird wings. He looks up at me with pleading eyes, or at least I think that's the emotion. Consider coming home with me? If things don't work out, I'd be leaving a well-paying job with a retirement pension of my own. I'd be leaving behind my apartment. Most importantly, I'd be leaving behind Hugh. I would be leaving behind the one person who knows all my deep dark secrets and still loves me. I wake up to Tuck's head between my thighs and for a few minutes, I don't think. I enjoy his skin on mine. I enjoy not being alone. I love you, Rosie, he pants in my left ear, his lips on my cheek. I roll out from under him and head for the bathroom. He joins me for a shower and once more he is in me, and I can't think of a better way to spend my day. I start to dress. Whoa, what's the hurry? Tuck chuckles, taking my dress from me and dropping it back onto the floor. Let me get out of your hair. I'm sure you've got plans. Are you serious? I look up at him and nod. Can I see you again later tonight? I shake my head. I pick up my dress and put it on. I hurry out of his room and out of his condo into the warm morning.